has made its way to California and infected over hundreds of people in the last few months with AGS, a rare disease that makes humans allergic to red meat and dairy, forcing them to go vegan, which is interesting considering a World Economic Forum scientist said this just a couple years ago.
About milk intolerance, and some people are intolerant to crayfish, so possibly we can use human engineering to make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat, to certain kinds of bovine proteins. And there's actually analogs of this in life. There's this thing called the Lone Star tick, where if it bites you, you'll become allergic to meat. I can sort of describe the mechanism. So that's something that we can do through human engineering. We can kind of possibly address really big world problems through human engineering.
That was Dr. Matthew Lau in 2016 when there was about 34,000 cases of AGS in the United States. Skip forward to today, there's over 450,000 Americans affected. How are they getting from Texas to California? Climate change. What is it ultimately going to help? Climate change. Just crazy that this happened in Martha's Vineyard, where the global elites and WEF members vacation in the summer. Is this just an experiment or a coincidence? As always, let me know.
Shalom. Call Halayim La Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak Wadash. Double honors unto our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Much peace and blessings to all you sincere Akim out there that's pushing this 100% truth with all sincerity, faith, and with charity. This is your brother Osh from the Great Millstone, Miami camp / Hollywood Beach camp, Broward camp. Coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And Lord willing, this lesson is edifying unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is going to be a quick lesson going into something that's taking place in Babylon the Great, something else that's taking place, because you got a whole lot of things taking place, a whole lot of evils taking place, okay? And you have the elites, these devils, so-called white men, which are the nation of Esau, Edom, in the Bible. Specifically this demon, Bill Gates, who was not only buying up all the farmland in Babylon the Great, stealing the water, okay, destroying farmland, making it hard to grow food for people, remixing and concocting all these different poisons to put in people, okay, helping develop this beast system with his digital tracking and implants, right? All to further his NWO system. They have something now where they are releasing genetically modified ticks. Okay? People are speaking of finding boxes of ticks dropped off on their property in different parts of Babylon. Okay? And these ticks are genetically modified to make people allergic to red meat. Okay, and as this woman brought out, the cases, which this disease is supposedly a rare disease, but the numbers are increasing, and they're, coming out saying that that's what they're doing. And it's supposedly to help fight climate change, okay, which we can all think back to the infamous Bill Gates TED Talk, where they were talking about climate change and different things they need to do to fight climate change. Okay, one being the juice. Okay, another thing is this whole veganism propaganda. Okay, they're talking about how the cows farting are increasing methane in the earth, causing the earth to heat up, which is a bunch of bullshit. No pun intended. Okay, but yeah, over the last decade or two, there's been a push for people to go vegan, right? Which they call it a diet, but really it's not a diet, it's a fast. Okay, but you don't see them creating GMO ticks to make people allergic to fruit and vegetables. They specifically are trying to make people allergic to red meat. Now, why is that? Because that's a superfood. We know Esau doesn't give a damn about climate change. He's the one polluting the earth, spraying chemtrails in the earth, poisoning the water, poisoning the land, microplastics every damn where, oil and other chemicals being released into the oceans. But we know this man deals with Ordo Ab Chaos. He creates boogeymen. He creates things in the earth, he creates problems so that he can come with the so-called solution, which is just furthering his own agenda so that it may be justified. Okay? This is the same thing all over again when Esau came over here to the Americas and slaughtered all the bison because they knew that Gad was thriving off of that bison. That was one of their main staples of food. A lot of the so-called Plains Indians, all right, a lot of the tribes like the Osage, and they say a lot of them were 7 feet tall, big and buff and strong, and the main food they ate was that bison. Okay, they were mighty men, mighty warriors. Now we know Esau's coming with his martial law, with his 15-minute cities. He wants to crack down on the people. And one way to make that easier for him is to make people weak, to make people frail, to make men have low testosterone. Okay? So, believe it or not, that is his main motive in pushing his vegan propaganda. Okay? Because again, red meat is a superfood. You do your own research. It has everything you need in it. They have a saying, you are what you eat, right? Well, I like to say, eat what you are. You're made of red meat. It's really simple. Okay? But the fact that they want to make people allergic to it tells you everything you need to know. But this is the devil being the devil. So if they can do things like this, what else can they do? What else is on the horizon? All right, the scriptures tell us that Esau is the Lord's sword. He was given a great sword. The physical sword, modern day sword, which is the gun. Right? He also has drones, other type of explosive devices, jet planes, tanks, missiles, all the way to nuclear missiles. But they also have, their so-called science technologies to where they can manipulate DNA, create GMOs. You got GMO foods, right? GMO plants. They feed people. They F people all up. Fruit with no seeds in it. How the hell you grow a fruit that don't produce seeds? But they also creating genetically modified ticks and bugs, GMO mosquitoes, to give people diseases. And this is all also going to play into the famine. Right? What they're saying, you will eat the bugs. They want people to starve. They want people to not have proper nutrition, which makes you more docile and more easier to control. It makes you a better slave. Okay? Excuse that. But yeah, so I'm just gonna get some scriptures on it. I ain't gonna make this long. Alright, this is the book of Job, chapter 13 and 14. But ye are forgers of lies, you're all physicians of no value. Okay, and this can be applied first and foremost to Esau Edom. His whole so-called medical system is based upon sorcery, based upon witchcraft. That's why the symbol of the medical industry is the rod of Asclepius, which goes back to Hermes, the god of magic, the god of witchcraft. Okay, he's a forger of lies. They create these different lies, telling you, oh, red meat is bad. Okay, eat kale, which nobody ate kale till 2013, till Beyonce started talking about it, that's a bunch of propaganda. Okay, they tell you the cows is gonna cause global warming, which that's a bunch of propaganda. Okay, which we do know, according to biblical prophecy, the Lord is going to make it very hot, but that don't have nothing to do with cows. Okay, that's again the same thing Esau did. He killed off the bison when he came over here to the Americas to starve out Jake, to make him weak. Then he started giving them sugar, giving them bread, giving them wheat. They showed you in the movie Killers of the Flower Moon, making people diabetic and pre-diabetic, dropping your testosterone. You look at the tribe of Gad today, a lot of them are shorter in stature than their ancestors. A lot of them are on the bigger side. The women a lot of time on the bigger side. A lot of them suffer from diabetes. But then you look at the pictures, the oldest pictures of them, read the diaries from 1700s, 1800s, 16, going back. A lot of them were 7 feet tall. The shortest of them was like 6'7", 6'8", and they were very mighty. Right, but over generations, over time, they come out shorter and shorter. That's because the diet changed. Okay? You look at these different countries like India, these different third world countries, India, China, where they have these huge populations. That's because of grains like rice, like wheat, survival foods. Spirit, as a jet just flew right over. But these staple foods, which will prevent starvation. But you also look at countries with the highest number of diabetes. You're going to see countries like India, countries I believe like Pakistan, where the main food source is rice. Okay, and Esau pushes that. So yeah, you eat stuff like that, you won't die, you'll ensure a big population, but it's going to be a slave population. And again, you look at your average Indian, East Indian, they got a pot belly, right? A lot of them, they got like weird marks on their face and shit. Their skin don't look good. They weak and frail. They skinny fat. That's because of all the damn rice they eat. Right? You don't see no mighty looking Indians. That come from generations of poor nutrition. And the scriptures tell us that, over the generations, the earth gets weaker, and the men and the women, they lose their stature. Well, this is one of the reasons why. Okay, and you do your own research on all of this. All right. We just close off with this. It's the 2 Thessalonians. Right, the 2 Thessalonians. All right, this is a good chapter to go into in this subject. But What I want is escaping me right now. Second Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. You see? So we understand Esau has the technology like CRISPR, gene editing. Okay, to create GMOs. He creates diseases. He manipulates viruses to push on the people for control, simply for that control. They say, oh, it's to help, it's to do this, but it's to destroy humanity, man, and to enslave, simply put. Okay, so that's pretty much it. It's just something I wanted to go into real fast. Lord willing, was edifying with that. I'm gonna say shalom.